District 1, Supervisor Alejo. District 2, Supervisor Phillips. District 2, Supervisor Phillips.
I think you might be muted, John.
I thought I seen him, yes.
I see he's there, but he is
Okay.
muted.
District 3, Supervisor Lopez.
Here.
District 4, Supervisor Askew.
Just in time.
I
Good morning,
saw-
everyone.
District 5, Supervisor Adams. District 5, Supervisor Adams.
Here.
City of Carmel by the Sea. City of Delray Oaks. City of Gonzales. City of Greenfield.
Here.
City of King City. City of King City. City of Marina. City of Monterey.
Here.
City of Pacific Grove.
Here.
City of Sand City.
Here.
City of Salinas. City of Salinas. City of Seaside.
Here.
City of Soledad.
Here.
Ambac.
Here.
Caltrans District 5.
Here.
Monterey Bay Air Resources District.
Here.
Monterey Regional Airport District.
Here.
Monterey Salinas Transit.
Here.
City of Watsonville. CSUMB.
Here, good morning.
Good morning. Chair, we do have a quorum.
Thank you very much.
Carmel belatedly here.
Okay.
And Luis, Jose Rios is here as well, City Gonzalez.
Yes, I do have you. Thank you.
And I'm
Thank
on
you.
too, Supervisor Phillips, so.
Yes, thank you.
LeBar finally got connected. Apologize.
Thank you.
No problems whatsoever. Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm glad we have a quorum, and I will call the meeting to order. And now, if we would please stand, and I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
States of America. And to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, so now I would like to move forward and call for any public comment on items that are not listed on today's agenda. And I will look to you, Eloise, to tell me if you see anybody out there.
That's a negative, Chair. I don't
Okay.
see anyone.
Okay, terrific, good, okay. And then we will move forward. And at this point, we will look to item number 3, the consent agenda. And is there any member of the board that wishes to pull anything from the consent agenda? I'm not seeing any hands raised. Is that correct?
Seems to be correct.
Okay, thank you so much. And is there any member of the public that would like to pull anything from the consent agenda?
I don't see anyone, Chair.
Thank you so very much. So with that, I would like to have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Lopez moves consent.
Thank you. Is there a second? Mayor Potter, I believe that was the second. Okay, thank you very much. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
District 1, Supervisor Alejo. District 2, Supervisor Phillips.
Aye.
District 3, Supervisor Lopez.
Aye.
District 4, Supervisor Askew.
Aye.
District 5, Supervisor Adams.
Aye.
City of Carmel by the Sea.
Aye.
City of Delray Oaks. City of Gonzales.
Aye.
City of Greenfield.
Aye.
City of King City.
Aye.
City of Marina. City of Monterey.
Yes.
City of Pacific Grove.
Aye.
City of Salinas. City of Salinas.
Here.
City
Okay,
of,
here, but are you voting yes or no to approve the consent agenda?
I apologize. I literally just logged on and she said City of Salinas. So I thought maybe I'd slid in right in time. I'll go ahead and abstain from the vote. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
City of
Continue, please.
City,
Yes.
City of Seaside,
Aye.
City of Soledad.
Aye.
Chair, the motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we will continue forward then and move on to item number 4, which is the Safe Routes to School Art and Recognition. And I know this is going to be a very special presentation today. We're going to be recognizing North Salinas High School teachers, Ms. Jennifer Gaston and Ms. Anne Marie Glomson, and the students for their contribution to the McKinnon Street pop-up demonstration. And then we're also going to receive a report on upcoming art in Safe Routes to School program opportunities. So let's move to Ariana Green.
Great.
And Todd, Todd, are you going to, sorry, Todd, are you going to need to make any remarks before we move forward?
No, thank you. I'll let Ari take it.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, Chair Adams. Mariana Green, Principal Transportation Planner with the Transportation Agency for Monterey County. And I am going to share my screen so that you can, we put together a little slideshow to show you the great work that a group of very talented North Salinas high school students and their teachers put together to help us with one of our pop-up demonstrations. So can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So just a little bit of background. This past April, we did we demonstrated a protected bike lane on McKinnon Street in front of Hardin Middle School, but we needed something to be the barrier between the bicycle lane and the car lane. And we had this idea to use some horse troughs, but none of us are very talented artists. So we approached the middle school and the high school, and 2 teachers just jumped on the opportunity to help out and get involved. And that was Miss Gaston and Miss Glomson with North Salinas High School. And so Miss Gaston engaged her group of very talented art students, high school students, and they decorated 10 of these horse troughs for us, and these murals on each side of the horse trough to place out in front of Hardin Middle School. And we were just, they got so into it. They exceeded all of our expectations, and it looks like they had a lot of fun with it too. And so we just wanted to show you, share the artwork with you in case you didn't have a chance to go visit the pop-up demonstration when it was up, and recognize this talented group of students and teachers that really took the time to work with us and get involved in our project. So I'm not sure. I think that Ms. Gaston and her students were going to join us today. Does Eloise, do you see them on the meeting?
I don't, I don't know who they are and I don't see them on the meeting list.
Ariana, we're not seeing them on the participant list.
Okay.
If there is a representative, please unmute yourself and say hello.
Well, we do have some certificates for them, which we'll be delivering to them, I think, later today. And I think we'll also be posting these pictures on our Safe Routes Monterey Instagram and Facebook pages, as well as our website, just to show the rest of the county the great work that they did.
Well, thank you so much, Ariana, for the presentation. And I'm so sorry that we've not been able to get Ms. Gaston and or Ms. Glomson to be able to hear the appreciation that we as a board have for them. I'm so pleased that we have certificates of recognition, and perhaps we could make an arrangement to go to a classroom and present the certificate of thanks to them, and the students would be able to see us doing that. And I would offer my self to go if that's if that would be an appropriate thing to do. I'm just
Thank you. That would be wonderful.
okay.
So I've got a second part of the presentation now. So I'm going to
Great.
reshare my screen.
Okay.
Okay. Can everyone see my screen again?
Yes.
Wonderful. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about one aspect of our Safe Routes to School program, which is that we have been incorporating art strategically into our Safe Routes to School program. And so, it's been very effective. And so we'd like to continue doing it, but wanted to just take an opportunity to kind of explain why we're doing it. So one reason is because it increases the visibility of the program. So this is an example of some sidewalks we painted down in South County before we launched walking school buses down there in Soledad, Greenfield, and Soledad, Greenfield, and Gonzales. And it really got the attention of the community, and it really got the attention of the press too. So we got some good coverage for that programming, so that the greater community could know about it, as well as the school community. We also have been using art as a way to engage with our youth. And so this is an example of that. Over the pandemic, we worked with a group of CSUMB graphic design students to create a Safe Routes to School activity book that we were included in a kit, so that and they were delivered to students across the county so that they could learn traffic safety lessons and have some fun activities to do while they were sheltering in place. But this was a really cool way to get the college students involved in actually designing the manual, learning themselves about traffic safety and Safe Routes to School, as well as the students that benefited from the activity books and played with them. And then, as you just saw, art is also a way to empower students to get involved and learn about Safe Routes to School and traffic engineering, and empower them to make positive change in their community, like the protected bike lane demonstration that we just talked about in front of Hardin Middle School. And then it's also, art is an opportunity to encourage people to get out and actually walk and bike and scooter and stroll on the decorated streets to see the art, and to, there are all sorts of health benefits to enjoying art. And so the more that we can do of that in our outdoor spaces, the more likely people are to take more trips out to visit them. And we also have fun with doing some hopscotch stencils and things like that to make the walk even more fun. So coming soon, I just wanted to let you all know about a few opportunities to get involved in art and in our Safe Routes to School programming. So on September 15th, we're going to be doing our next street demonstration as part of the Salinas Valley Safe Routes to School plan down in Greenfield. We're going to be doing a series of curb extensions along 12th Street. And we just got the news that the Arts and Cultural Director wants to work with us to decorate some more horse troughs to include as protection for pedestrians at these intersections. So we'll be working with a new group of talented students for this demonstration. So this will be up for a month, and I encourage you all to come down, and if you're in Greenfield, come check it out on 12th Street. And then we're also just recently partnered with the city of Salinas on a grant to do semi-permanent sidewalk art in East Salinas. So we'll be, this is just an example of something that we could do with the material, the thermoplastic material that we'll be using. And we're going to be kicking that effort off very soon. The Salinas City Council just approved our contract with them to do the work. So we'll be starting to reach out to the East Salinas community this fall. And then we'll be doing a call for artists or call for art in the springtime. And then lastly, this October, we're trying something new, and we're going to hold a Monterey County art competition, a Safe Routes to School art competition. All the schools in Monterey County are welcome to participate, and we're going to be asking students, we've got a couple of prompts to ask students their favorite ways to get around and to draw those, and we'll be showcasing their art on our social media and online, and also be integrating their artwork into our future Safe Routes to School programming materials and incentives. And we are going to have some really cool prizes for the winning artists. So we'll be giving away some skateboards, scooters, bikes, and some art supplies. So just wanted to let you all know about that. If you have any teachers or school folks in your life, let them know. We want everyone to participate. And be happy to answer any questions about our Safe Routes to School program at this point.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Ariana. Are there any members of the board who have questions or comments they'd like to make at this point?
Chair, this is Labar. I have a question, please.
Yes.
Ariana, are you having any issues with engagement in King City, or is it just because it's so early in the process?
For the, we're just kicking off the Salinas Valley Safe Routes to School plan in King City.
Thank you.
So we're just getting started. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other board members who wish to make comment or ask questions? Hearing none, I'm going to take it out to the public and see if there's any member of the public who would like to make comments or ask questions or make comments at this point. Well, it's a pretty quiet group this morning.
Not seeing any hands. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Todd. I don't see any either. So with that, the recommended action is to receive the report, but not without giving a great round of thanks to Ariana for this wonderful work that you're doing with this program. It's very compelling, and I know that the kids are really engaged with it. So thank you so much, you and all the rest of the team who are putting efforts into making this such a success.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And now we will move on to item number 5, which is to receive an update on State Route 156, the Castroville Boulevard interchange project delivery status. And Todd will be the presenter for this. So let's get ready to dive in.
Thank you. My comments are going to be relatively brief, but this is an important item that I wanted to make sure that the board was aware of the status of the development of the the 156 Castro Boulevard interchange project. And we've come up against a significant risk item. It's been a known risk for a long time, but it's getting to the point where it's affecting the likelihood of being able to deliver the project on time. And that's the requirement for the project to receive some permits as part of the Coastal Commission and the North County Coastal Plan. It's the project is in the coastal zone, so it has requirements to receive permits and before it can start construction. And it's been going through the process. The team has worked with the county. Caltrans is the lead agency on designing and delivering this project. So Caltrans team has been working closely with TAMC staff and with Monterey County staff. And the permits, the coastal development permits have gone through the county process, and the Monterey County Planning Commission did approve the required permits at their June 29th meeting. After those permits were approved, they were appealed to the Monterey County Board of Supervisors, and the appeal is scheduled to be heard on September 13th. The issue is that if, assuming the Board of Supervisors deny the appeal and the permits are approved, then the project could be appealed to the California Coastal Commission, either by a member of the public, or commissioners could appeal the project to the full commission. And at that point, the delay that it would take to go through the Coastal Commission process would significantly put funding at risk for the project. This is the construction phase of this project is about $29.5 million. And we secured a $20 million trade corridor enhancement program grant from state SB1 funds for the project. And the deadline to get a construction allocation for those trade corridor funds is June 30th, 2023. The project is on schedule from all other aspects. It's essentially, the design is complete. At this stage, when you're going to deliver a project for construction, it's all the other details that need to get taken care of. Permits like the coastal development permit, utility coordination, final right-of-way acquisition, and other permits such as fish and wildlife. Those are the types of things that the team are working on right now and are anticipated to be able to complete in order to make that June 30th, 2023 deadline. It's the Coastal Commission issue with any potential delay that this project would, the time it would take to get through Coastal Commission, either an appeal of the approved permit, or the team has talked about an alternative, which would be to try to do a focused coastal amendment to the existing coastal plan. But the time required to do those things are most likely exceed the time we have to deliver the project. So we are working with the team. We are looking at avenues in order to resolve these issues, meeting with coastal staff, trying to work with them on their concerns, and meeting with California Transportation Commission staff to see if there's alternatives in the delivery or the funding schedule. The issue with that is the trade corridor funds have very specific guidelines that will not allow the California Transportation Commission to extend the deadline for award. So that's not an option. As we move forward, we'll be working closely with them to see if there are any other options. But right now, that time deadline for award is fixed. I've met and talked with Senator Laird and his staff. He's a strong supporter of this project. He authored Senate Bill 1231, which allowed the California Department of Fish and Wildlife to issue a take permit for one of our habitat issues, the Santa Cruz long-toed salamander. So mitigation for any potential impacts for the salamander is included in the project design. Other issues such as the farmland impacts, those are also included in the mitigation plan as designed. So we're working with our partners to try to resolve this, but it really does come down to the Coastal Commission and their staff and their willingness to work with us and to fit it in a schedule that we can meet the funding deadline. I'll stop there, and I know the Caltrans team, the Caltrans project manager for this project is Mike Liu. I see that he's on the participant list. So we're here to answer any questions that the board or the public have.
Thank you so much, Todd. It's a difficult situation. And I know that we have a number of board members engaged with this who will want to ask questions and make comments. And I'll start with Supervisor Phillips, who has his hand raised. I'd ask all the other board members that wish to make a comment, if you could please use the raise your hand function on our computer. And I believe you can do that by clicking on the reactions icon. That would be helpful. Supervisor Phillips.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, and I appreciate all the work that Todd's done and working with Caltrans and the county on this. And we all recognize this is a big critical issue. It is a critical issue in North County. We popped it out for Measure X and said this is where we really wanted to put our money. And we got a high school right there near the traffic problems. And so everybody supported this. No one didn't support this. Even Landwatch is involved in this. And Julie Packard from the foundation was very helpful. And it's the out of control staff of the Coastal Commission, especially here in Santa Cruz, that wants control. And they stepped in and told us basically they were going to sandbag it unless we went back through them for more modifications. And so Todd and I, and we had a representative of Packard Foundation, all of us had a meeting, took it up the chain to Jack Ainsworth, and he won't step in and do anything about his staff. And we pointed out no one was objecting to this. And so it put them in a tough spot because they were going to have to find two commissioners to step up and file their own appeal. And so shortly after that, then Molly Erickson stepped in and filed an appeal on behalf of some unknown entity. And it just mimicked what the staff was claiming that we had to do. And unfortunately, the commissioners we have now always follows staff recommendation. And this staff is just out of hand. Some of you saw when the governor come out down there in Huntington Beach, he said, yes, we definitely need a desal project like this. And it still got voted, even though he has 4 representatives, it got voted down 11 to nothing. And unfortunately, we don't have the lady that's supposed to be representing us. It isn't worth a damn as far as I'm concerned. We don't have someone representing us like we did when we had Dave Potter or David Armanosco or Luke Calcagno on there that could articulate the county needs. Frankly, I think they're going to have to do something about the Coastal Commission where there should be a 3-judge panel when the county and the Coastal Commission has a major clash. It ought to go up to a 3-judge panel to fairly evaluate it and take some out of their hands. But it's just frustrating. And time-wise, I agree with Todd. It's running right up against whether we'll be able to get the project done and still keep the money. So it just really frustrating. So.
Well, thank you for your comments, John. I will now go to Chaps Paduri from Pacific Grove. If you want to unmute yourself, Chaps.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And I would like to state for the record that this is a safety issue. This is a congestion issue. This is also an issue with emissions, which is the number one thing that in the entire America is actually moving forward towards. So this project needs to move forward one way or the other. And I've actually heard comments from others stating that whenever I bring up 156, they say the comment that I get is the plan has been going on for years. They quote decades. So I think this is high time where we actually address this issue, especially on the emissions front, because while we delay projects like this, really the environment one way or the other is getting affected. So that's just for the record, I want to state that. But I had a question. The appeal to the California Coastal Commission, if this were to move forward from the Board of Supervisors, and you mentioned, Todd, that there was going to be a appeal. What is the window for that appeal for the California Coastal Commissions?
I believe there's a 10-day period after the county takes action, and that is submitted to the Coastal Commission. After the county submits their action to the Coastal Commission, there's a 10-day period for an appeal to be lodged.
And so, technically speaking, for our next TAMC meeting, we'll be knowing whether that appeal has been filed or not. Is that correct?
It really does depend on how the time difference between when the county action happens and this paperwork is submitted to the commission. But I do believe we'll know by our next meeting.
Okay. And I know because Pacific Grove is actually going through some kind of similar process. So I know that we've actually, there's been an appeal filed, but the commission has not even looked into it yet. I mean, it's not even on their agenda. It's been going on for what, 7+ months now. So is there any way to prioritize something on their agenda to move things forward?
Well, that was one of the reasons for the meeting with their executive director, Jack Ainsworth, to really make sure that they knew the time constraints that we were facing. And he understands and stated his concern about losing the funds for the project, and did speak to working with us on schedules, but that's still completely something we don't know yet how quickly they will act or work with us on processing this. Okay.
All right, so I think more to follow there. The other question, somewhat, I don't know if it's related or not, but knowing that this is Highway 156, where we have other projects in tow, do you anticipate such an item coming up for other 156 projects too?
There's the primary issue, or one of the issues, is the coastal staff wanting the North County coastal plan to be updated. And we have talked about the need to do that update from the transportation perspective. And our willingness is to move ahead with an update. If we could get this permit through, then we could move forward with an update that would cover all the future projects in the area.
Okay, all right. Thank you. That's helpful.
Doing an update to the coastal plan typically takes, I've heard 3 to 5 years for an update. So that's why we didn't proceed with an update for this project at this time. And that's our concern, if that's the direction we have to go.
Yeah, and I read that the 2008, there was an update to the plan, which basically addressed some of the items, and you have some mitigations too. So hopefully this will go through, but fingers crossed.
Thank you very much, chaps. Now we'll go to Mayor Mike Labar.
Thank you, Chair. Absolutely frustrating, this process. But I will say, I do believe it is absolutely discriminatory what the Coastal Commission is doing, because they are talking about denying an underserved and disadvantaged community. Many of those kids at that high school come from below poverty households. And yet, I would imagine if we did a little bit of research, we would find where the Coastal Commission was favorable to affluent neighborhoods up and down the California coast. My one question is what if we just proceeded without their blessing? What is the fine and what is their enforcement capability? Thank you, Chair.
Okay, well, thank you, Mike and Todd. You want to take a stab at that answer?
I think we'd have to do some research to get an answer to that question. It's the permits required for a project are part of a package you have to deliver before you can get your right of way signed off and can proceed to construction. So I'd be happy to look and ask folks to look into that, but I don't think we'll be able to overcome that issue.
And Todd, also, I would suggest looking into their authorities and ability to override the will of the voters. And I think that's very important to note because the voters have said this is an important project. And the will of the people is paramount when it comes to the governance and the application of revenues received by the government to be spent on their behalf. And I do believe there's a case to be made there as well. So I look into that too, please. Thank you.
Okay. Will do.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are there any other board members that wish to make comment or ask questions? Again, if you could raise your hand. Back to Supervisor. I'll go to who's not spoken yet, and that would be Mr. Oglesby. Mayor Oglesby.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you so much. I've been listening to the conversation. I think we all have, and I think as a group, we need to support these concepts and really push the concept of, Judge Phillips, not regarding the 3-judge panel, but just pushing back at the highest level, using all the force that we have as this regional body. I don't think we just let this pass by saying we can't do too much. We really need to use the authority of a TAMC within this state to say what is not going right up there as relates to our working with the Coastal Commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And now we have the Mayor of Carmel, Mr. Potter.
Well, Todd, what are the exact findings of what are the exact charges that are coming forward in the appeal? What's the language there? Molly is claiming this wrong.
It's the way that the coastal lands are treated, the impacts to coastal lands and habitat mitigation are the primary issues. And
I believe she mentioned
Carl directly about this.
I'm sorry, Mary, go ahead.
I believe it mentions agricultural land as well.
Yes, I meant coastal agricultural land impacts. And the proposed mitigation for that is to potentially have a pay in lieu fee or a fund if we can't secure specific properties. So that's the primary issue that she has. Coastal staff has expressed concern about the footprint of the design and the roundabout that's located on the south side of the project, which is the design, including the roundabouts, is part of what Board Member Pedori mentioned is the reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, and as a safety feature, being safer and reducing emissions is typical for roundabouts. And that's one of the reasons why we promote them as an agency. So it gets into a conflict between if there is the smallest possible footprint is what the Coastal Commission staff is looking for. We're looking for the safest, most efficient project, but we are working to schedule a meeting between the Caltrans team and Coastal Commission staff to review the project, review how the project design was minimized, trying to reduce impacts, trying to meet the goals that the Coastal Commission staff state that they're concerned about. So that's part of the process that we have ahead of us to try to work through this.
You had a conversation with Dan Carl, the director of the district, correctly, or are you dealing with a staffer?
Right now, Tammy Groves is the primary staff who's been working on it, and because she's their transportation lead, I believe. And Dan Carl was at the meeting with Jack Ainsworth when we met to talk about the project.
All right.
Thank you. Dave, back to John Phillips.
Yeah, I'm interested to see any thoughts that Dave has, since he was on there for a long time and knows how it operates. But I got to say, the staff here, and there's been a big turnover in staff now, but it not seems to be getting any better there. But just to give you a couple examples, they have, even though it wasn't appealed to them, they've told us, even though the state's telling us we have to do ADUs, accessory dwelling units, they said, we want to approve and we're going to make sure it's appealed to us next time. We're going to approve no accessory dwelling units in the coastal zone in North Monterey County because of water issues. And recently they stepped in for the first time anybody's seen it, and stepped in and denied an emergency well permit that the behavioral health or environmental health had approved. And they stepped in and said, well, we don't think this is an emergency, even though the guy is running a business, has 2 residents on it, and we'll lose everything if we don't. We're thinking about moving forward on that. But a couple of things. One thing you said, John Laird strongly supports this. And he even sent an email to Ainsworth before our meeting, trying to help us as he can. And one of the concerns, and I can see maybe from their standpoint, is they see what we want to do after this is built. We want to extend from that roundabout. We want to extend over to Blackie Road, where all those commercial vehicles from Ocean Mist and all the industrials come through the main street of Casterville to get to 156, and eventually it's about 3/4 of a mile to extend it over to bring them in. But we know when we do that, we'll have to do a land use amendment. But they see that, and for some reason they don't like that. And that was one of the big advantages of this project is not blocking up those of you coming to work, not blocking up 183 on it. So that is one of their concerns that we were asked about by Ainsworth. Do you plan that in the future? And we said, yeah, that's something, but we know we're going to have to go through a complete amendment for that. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Dave, your hand is up. Is that a legacy hand or is it a fresh?
No, I
hand?
just wanted to add on to John's comments. I'd be happy to have a conversation with Dan Carl about this to find out if he's going to actually raise a substantial issue determination. That'd be the next step, is they can decide that whether the appeal raises a substantial issue, whether it doesn't, and whether it's mitigated in advance. I could have that conversation if you'd like to get a personal take on it. I do have an ongoing conversation with him on some other projects in the coastal zone I'm dealing with.
Yeah, you might be, we're not communicating very well. I'm certainly not, so I got to stay out of conversations with them, so.
I had a feeling that might be the case.
I will follow up with you on that. Thank you.
Be good, Todd. Thanks, Mary.
Are there any other questions from the board members at this point, or comments? I'm seeing none. I'll take it out to the public now and see if there's any member of the public who wishes to comment on this item today. Are we seeing anything, Todd?
No, I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, I do not either. Okay, well, thank you, Todd. It's a tough situation, and I very much appreciate all the efforts that you're making on this. And again, if there's anything that I can do to help, please know that I stand ready to as well. It's just really important. And I know that a lot of it impacts the district where I live as well, because of all of the people who get stuck in that area on 156 as they're leaving the Monterey Peninsula from a great weekend, and then just get choked sitting there in traffic trying to move forward to get onto 101. So it impacts many things in many different ways. So the recommended action, of course, is simply to receive the update. So I thank you very much for that. And with no further comment, then we will move forward to item number 6, which is to receive reports from the transportation providers. And we'll first go to the Caltrans director and their report. And I think it's Scott, are you
all right?
Teed up.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. I'm Scott Eads. I'm here today to provide you with an update. As a reminder, I'm the Deputy District Director for Transportation Planning and Local Assistance in District 5. And have a few items for you. First, I just wanted to appreciate and recognize the board's continued support for the Castroville Boulevard Interchange project. We've been working very closely with TAMC and the county for years on this project. It's a real achievement by the team to have secured the $20 million in TSIP funds, and we certainly don't want to jeopardize that funding source. So we're working closely with Todd and others, and we'll continue to do so to try to end up in a successful place on this one. Other highlights, I wanted to notify you all that the Caltrans Quick Map, it's a online mapping resource that Caltrans manages. There's also a mobile app that you can use. We have some new features that have just been released on that. We now have push notifications, which allows users that have signed up to receive real-time notifications about road closures, emergencies, and other updates. And when a user of an app is within 10 miles of a road closure or traffic-related events, a pop-up message can come on their phone just to let them know that there's something going on ahead of them. So that's a new feature for us, and it's obviously an optional feature. And you can go to Quick Map on quickmap.dot.ca.gov. There's information there on just the web interface that's available on your desktop or the mobile app, which you can download onto your device. And then I also wanted to highlight an upcoming training day for local assistance. And so our local assistance units works closely with each local jurisdiction, generally our public works staff on any federally funded projects and a lot of other projects. And so this training is provided for those staff or RTPA members as well, or just any interested parties. The training is on September 8th. It's Wednesday. It's a full day of training, and it includes information on local project delivery policies, processes and procedures, and facilitating peer-to-peer sharing and best practices. It's open to project managers, engineers, and for anybody that works on local assistance projects. Happy to provide more information on the registration information if you'd like. And then finally, just wanted to highlight that in your adjoining county, in San Benito County, there's 2 projects that are just beginning construction, and wanted to highlight that will be happening if you're traveling east. The San Benito 156 improvement project, it's constructing a 4-lane expressway between San Juan Bautista and getting close to Hollister. It's building a new alignment adjacent to the existing highway, just to the south of the existing highway. It's a 5.2 mile long project, and it'll go from the Alameda Road at San Juan Bautista to just east of the Highway 156 business routes near Hollister. And then also we've already begun construction. That one's about to begin. We're also have just begun construction on a roundabout at the 25-156 intersection. I'm replacing a signal with a roundabout. That's a safety project funded through our SHOP program. So I have, happy to take any questions today.
Thank you, Scott. And good news about the work that's going on in our neighboring county. A lot of us use that route from time to time. Thank you for that. Any questions for Scott or comments? Seeing no hands raised, any questions from the public on this? I think the public is absent today. Okay, we'll go ahead and move forward. Thanks again, Scott, and go to the Monterey Peninsula Airport. And I believe we have Mr. Zabel here today.
Well, thank you, Chair Adams. We always, as always, we appreciate the opportunity to share information about our own commercial airport in the region. So anyhow, the good news is that the Monterey Airport is doing very well. Our enplanements are higher than they were pre-pandemic, and a lot of that traffic is coming from Dallas-Fort Worth, where there's a lot of connecting traffic through Dallas to Monterey and vice versa. And so that's being very successful. And American is very pleased with that, as they are with their Phoenix traffic. The flights are full, and we're trying to encourage them to add more capacity onto those routes. So I remind everybody that you can pretty much get to anywhere in the country and the world, for that matter, out of Monterey through Dallas-Fort Worth, which is a very easy connection. Our Concours event generated a lot of traffic. We had airplanes everywhere on that airport. It was a very successful event. It did highlight the congestion factor on Highway 68 getting to and from the airport. I always have to put that pitch in there. We're really anxious to improve access to the airport and the whole peninsula via Highway 68. We've approached United about providing additional service out of Monterey all the way to Chicago. That's a long-term project on our part, but we think that it'd be there's a lot of demand for that, and we're working very hard to try to convince United to do that for us. We almost had new service to Reno out of Monterey, and unfortunately, ExpressJet, which used to be here, went away. Went bankrupt the day before they were supposed to start service here. So we won't have service to Reno, but that's one of the unfortunate aspects of today's environment, particularly with high fuel costs. We're working with the Convention Bureau to approach the county's Economic Development Committee to get a $300,000 grant for new air service, and that it kind of reflects a new cooperation and a very good cooperation with the Convention Bureau, and so we're very hopeful that we can get that marketing money for developing new service. And we are trying to get Customs and Border Protection to work with us to get customs capability here at Monterey so that we can provide eventually international flights. There's a demand for private aircraft and commercial aircraft to fly out of Monterey to some obvious destinations internationally. That's not a tomorrow thing, but we're working towards that, and there's a lot of interest in that. So thank you very much, Chair Adams, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
Thank you so much. Any questions for Mr. Sabo today? Okay, looks like you're off the hook, Bill. Thank you so much. And now we will go to Monterey Salinas Transit, Carl Thorpe.
Thank you, Chair. Just wanted to mention a few things. We have an open house scheduled for August 31st at the Carpenters Hall, 910 2nd Avenue Marina, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. to get community input during the final design of our SURF busway and bus rapid transit project. So we are inviting all members of the public to come and help us, provide input design elements such as stops and stations and other customer amenities, finished materials, wayfinding, and then also to learn about the project as well. We'll have an overview discussing the environmental impacts, the economic impacts, and the how this project is supporting persons who live in disadvantaged communities and maybe of lower income, providing them access both to the coast and increased access to school, to jobs, and to medical appointments. Also, we're winding down our summer services, and we will be discontinuing the trolleys effective Labor Day, and we'll also be discontinuing what was very popular free fare Sundays that we put in over the summer. The trolleys were carrying between 7,000 and 8,000 passengers per, between 1,000 and 1,200 passengers per day. And the free fare Sundays, we were carrying about 4,500 passengers per day, fare free on the Sundays during the summer. While that's ramping down, we'll be ramping up our college services, returning the Line 25 service to Cal State University Monterey Bay with connections at the Salinas Transit Center, as well as the Line 47 that connects the East LSL Salinas campus at Hartnell College to the main campus along the LSL corridor. Related to that, we're really happy to announce the past week that the 20,600 odd community college and Cal State University students in Monterey County are now all eligible to receive free MST service by using their college ID issued by their schools. We've inked agreements over the summer with Cal State University Monterey Bay, as well as Hartnell and Monterey Peninsula College, so that their students can utilize MST services at no additional cost to them during the semesters. They can get to school, get to their part-time jobs, and whatever it is they need to do. Then also we're working with the universities to, during off semester, during the semester breaks, to provide a half price discount to their students. Cal State University Monterey Bay went the extra yard and is going to provide free service to all their faculty and staff as well. So we're happy to be announcing this countywide College Pass program. That concludes my comments for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carl. Any comments or questions on Carl's presentation? Okay, well, thank you very much again. Pretty exciting piece. Okay, we'll move forward now to the Monterey Bay Area Monterey Bay Air Resources District. Richard Stedman.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Just a few remarks this morning. MBARD is currently processing our AB 2766 project applications. We have some really notable projects proposed in Monterey County, including a couple of roundabouts and in payment for some zero emission vehicles from a Ford Lightning truck all the way up to a zero emission transit bus. We'll be announcing staff recommendations at our October meeting. And then just on the EV front, we're helping to sponsor the National Drive Electric Day in Salinas. That's a Salinas Ride, Drive, and Display Show. That's Sunday, October 2nd, from 11 to 4, and that's at 11 Station Place in Salinas. It's the new extension parking lot at the commuter Amtrak station. We expect about 300 to 500 attendees. Dealer test drive cars, EV owners will be there, including electric motorcycles. There will be fun and educational activities at booth stands staffed by community-based organizations like MBARD. We'll have kids and game stations for the kids. We'll have e-bike test rides, and there will be a food truck. For more information, you can go to their website, which is evsforeveryone.org, which gives a listing of other drive days that are going to be scheduled as well. And then lastly, just wanted to let folks know that California Clean Air Day is October 5th. This is a project from the California Coalition for Clean Air. This is a unified day of action where Californians can create new habits to clear the air for all members of California's diverse communities. Now's the time to get the word out and make a clean air pledge. You can go to the cleanairday.org/pledge website to take the Clean Air Pledge as an individual or sign up your organization. That concludes my remarks. Be happy to answer any questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Richard. Is there anyone who has questions or comments for Richard this morning? The silence prevails. Okay, thank you very much, Richard. And now we will close that item and move forward to item number 8, which is our, missed item number 7. And that is reports on meetings attended by board members at transportation agency expense, as is required by state law. Is there any member who wishes to make a disclosure this morning? Okay, I don't see any. Do you, Todd? Okay.
No, I'm not aware of any meetings that need to be disclosed.
Okay, thank you so much. So we're quiet and we're not traveling. All righty, moving forward, we will go to item number 8 now, which is our executive director's report.
Thank you. Carl Sidorik mentioned the Surf Busway public outreach that's scheduled for next Wednesday, the 31st, at Carpenter's Hall from 6 to 8 p.m. Myself and other TAMC staff will be there assisting with that outreach opportunity. And I wanted to just take a second to brag a little bit. The SURF project received a $25 million state grant in July. And I just wanted to note that TAMC staff, TAMC was a co-applicant for that grant award, and TAMC staff helped write the original application. So, we're a strong partner with MST on the SURF project. Measure X funds is contributing $15 million towards the project, and up till this point, those funds have been used to do the design and development and environmental review for the project. And this is a good example of how we're leveraging those funds and getting the project to a point where it's successful and receiving other grant awards. So this is a TIRCIP grant for $25 million. There was a $22.5 million state earmark, and MST is getting ready to submit for a federal grant that will hopefully fund the remainder of the full project. So we're excited about the grants we received and looking forward to successfully funding the project so we can get it constructed.
Excellent.
Ariana mentioned the work that's going on for art in our Salinas Valley and our Safe Route to School program. And there are a couple activities starting tomorrow with a kickoff for the Salinas Valley Safe Route to School events tomorrow in Soledad at the Farmers Market from 4 to 8. We'll have a booth there where you can meet staff and talk about what's going to happen with the Safe Route to School program. And then on Sunday, the 28th, there will be a Blue Zone event in Gonzales from noon to 3 p.m. at Central Park. And we'll also be there to help kick off the Salinas Valley Safe Route to School planning efforts. And then finally, I wanted to mention that there's a partnership that we're involved in throughout the Central Coast. It's the Central Coast Zero Emission Vehicle Strategy. And that's an effort to identify where electric vehicle charging facilities are needed. And if you would like to go to a link to information about the program, and there is a interactive map where you can pin locations and where you think charging is needed or comments about anything related to electric vehicle charging. The TAMC website, tamcmonterey.org, has a link to this project on our homepage. So that's probably the easiest way to convey that. And we're looking forward to getting a lot of public information, public comments, and then we're expecting to have a presentation on this at a future TAMC board meeting.
Great.
So with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Scott. I found myself writing a note to say we should have a charging station presentation at an upcoming board meeting. So you've taken it all already done. Thank you. Any comments or questions for Todd this morning? Okay, super, great. All righty, well then we will go on to item number 9, which is any announcements and/or comments from transportation members or on matters that you would like to see on future TAMC agendas. Mayor LaBarre.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to thank TAMC and Ecology Action. They participated in the King City Blue Zone's kickoff event this last Sunday. Really appreciated them handing out helmets and all kinds of swag and taking information regarding the upcoming Safe Routes to School program. So thank you, Ariana and Aaron and the other people that were there. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. LaBarre. And now we'll go to our own Dr. Samuels.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like just to acknowledge that after 40 years of service to the state of California and public higher education, Dr. Eduardo Ochoa has retired from CSUMB. We've had 10 years of exemplary leadership, and we're very pleased to announce that a new president has been selected. Distinguished scholar Dr. Vanya Quinones from Pace University in New York has already joined the university, and we look forward to welcoming her to a TAMC meeting sometime in the future, probably a few months hence as she gets her feet wet. Very excited to have the new leadership and look forward to continuing to participate in the board under Dr. Quinones.
Thank you very much for that. And we'll all need to make sure that we have the opportunity to welcome Dr. Quinones. So now I will go to Chap Spadori.
Thank you, Chair. For a future item, I'm interested to see how the Inflation Reduction Act and the bill is actually kind of like helping us, TAMC as a board, as well as our partners. What kind of items are there? Because it's really, I view it as a climate bill. So what kind of items are there that will help us move the needle? So if there's any future presentation on that topic, I'll be very interested. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any comment on that, Todd?
We will work on putting something together.
Great. Okay, super. Anyone else who has anything that they would like to see brought forward to a future agenda? I'm seeing no hands raised. So we'll go on to our last item, the one that I think people often enjoy, which is I make a formal motion to adjourn our meeting today. And our next meeting will be on Wednesday, September 28th at 9 a.m. And I believe that we will probably still be Zooming at that point. And I hope that this is a situation, a venue that works for everyone well. Good, I'm seeing heads nodding. That's a good thing. Okay, well, with that, we are adjourned. Thank you all so very much for being with us. I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.